This video is for my gorgeous girlies, my non-binary babes, my lovely members of the LGBTQIA+ community. If you're a cishet guy, you are welcomed here. But if you're gonna feel some type of way about this video and say, oh, this is sexist, you're so stupid, you're ugly, well, it's your lucky day, because instead of charging you $99, I'm gonna do a giveaway. As in, I'm asking you to go away, because this is a safe space where people can be vulnerable and share their experiences with men. Even men themselves can talk about it. Oh, shocker, I know. And if you're gonna feel some type of way about that, then spoiler alert, you're probably one of the men that I'm talking about in this video. Because the good guys who actually understand the sentiment, this video doesn't apply to them. If you're so insistent on commenting anyway, know that by commenting, you're pushing my video out to more people and they're gonna hear this message. So thanks for donating to a cause you supposedly hate. You're still here? You're dismissed now. Bye. So what's the tea? With the rise of creators like Drew Afualo, the 4B movement, and people being more and more open to criticize the behavior of men, they're starting to feel like there's a shift in the air, and it's starting to feel good. Men often critique the methods in which people have now begun to fight back misogyny with, oh, what's the point of being mean? You're fighting fire with fire. Oh, what's the point of calling out bad behavior? What is abstaining from men gonna even do? I have a good analogy for this. Imagine I told you to explain the plot of Heartstopper and Bridgerton in English to someone who doesn't understand English. Now, if you're a retired theater kid, then maybe you're gonna put on a performance of a lifetime and they'll understand some plot points, but they're not gonna understand every single plot point. They're probably not gonna even understand the gist of everything. Pop quiz time. What happened in season 2, episode 5 at the 15-minute mark? Were you not paying attention? Yeah, that's what I thought. In order for men to understand our issues with them, a lot of times we have to speak the same language as them, and a lot of times that means through sex and through being mean, to be honest. Because think about it. We've done the peaceful protests, we've tried to have gentle redirection and conversations, and it's not enough. So yeah, people are angry, people are tired, people want new ways to convey the message that what they're doing is not okay and that we're sick and tired of it. I mean, it's 2024. We'd rather be alone in the forest with a bear than be alone with a man. If they weren't listening before, then maybe they'll listen now. And what creators like Drew Afualo, the 4B movement, and people openly criticizing men, what these all have in common is that these are responses to men's behavior. This is not just coming out of the woodworks, coming out of nowhere, you know? It's not like bippity boppity boop, I'm here. They're not initiating these things. Well, you're just being a mean person, but why are we not focused on the original mean comment and the original bad behavior that these people are commenting on and these people are reacting to? People have been polite and let men just slide with so many different things that people are tired, people are angry, people want change, people want reform. It's weird that if you're calling an Uber, your Uber driver comes, you don't know if that's actually your Uber driver or if it's someone who's trying to kidnap you. You can't walk at night, or maybe someone's gonna follow you. You go to a bar, someone might spike your drink. You can't even just go to the grocery store without someone air tagging your car. Why is it that when you're on a subway or a bus, a guy may reach under your skirt? These are things that we shouldn't have to deal with. We should be able to experience life like a normal person. There are just so many normal experiences that we can't have because a lot of men, I shouldn't even have to say this, and I know the people who get this, and I know the men who get this, is that when people say, I don't like men, I hate all men, they are not saying every single man on this entire earth. You know, it's not all men, yeah, but it's too many men. And I know a rebuttal to this argument, people say, oh, well, women can do horrible things too. But someone commented this on one of my TikTok videos, which really opened my eyes to it. Someone said that if a dog did something bad and everyone saw it on the news, that's not gonna make most people become dog haters. People are still gonna like dogs. Okay, yeah, women have done bad things too, but to the extent that men have, it's not comparable. And this is all under the patriarchy too, which naturally favors men. When I think about human history, when I think about the worst human atrocities that were committed in the world, most of them were caused by men. How many of them were caused by women? Like, yeah, there were some, but how many can you name off of the top of your head? And then misogyny runs a lot deeper than we'd like to admit, whether it's people making random comments, objectifying women. So many guys don't even realize that they're making misogynistic comments and they don't even want to confront that. When you're being oppressed, it's hard to articulate your feelings. It's hard to understand why you get this discomfort, why you get this funny feeling, why something that they said made you feel a certain way. It's hard because this is your normalcy. This is your everyday life. So of course you're used to it by now, but that doesn't mean that it's right, because there are situations that made you upset and uncomfortable and you don't know how to explain it. And you don't even have time to dissect what happened because you're on to the next misogynistic comment. You're on to the next event that you have to deal with that you don't even have time to reflect and say, oh oh my gosh, what just happened? And a lot of the bad behavior isn't seen as bad behavior because it's not bad enough. Oh, I didn't hit a woman. Oh, I didn't physically harm a woman. That means I'm not misogynist, which is not how it works at all. My biggest issue with the statement that, oh, guys are just dumb, guys are just silly, is that is weaponized incompetence. Saying that they're stupid is a cop-out answer. Saying that is an excuse. If men were truly stupid, they would not be able to remember random facts about their favorite sports team. They would not be able to strategize in their favorite video games if they were truly stupid. When we use weaponized incompetence, it is a way for them to escape consequences, to escape punishment. For example, if you compare them to a child, I see so many people saying, oh, my husband is like a child. When you infantilize a grown adult, that means they don't have to actually face the consequences. Because imagine if you have a child who forgets your birthday, or you have a child who gets you silver earrings even though you don't have your ears pierced and you only wear gold, would you be mad at that child for doing those mistakes? No, because they're a child. They're not going to know any better. So if you put that same energy towards a guy and say, he's just a guy, he's just dumb, it's fine he forgot my birthday, it's fine he forgot our anniversary, it's fine he doesn't put his shoes on the rack and puts it right next to the rack, that's just how guys are. They're just stupid. Saying that is making it seem like they have a gene in them that they can't control. Weaponized incompetence is not cute. And I bet you that all of these incompetent incidences would not apply for something he actually cares about. I remember I saw this TikTok of this woman. She was going to go on a cruise with her husband and she kept asking him over and over again, hey, do you have your passport? Do you have your passport? Is it the right passport? And he said, yeah, I checked it. They're about to board the cruise and he has the wrong passport, even though she told him and asked him over and over, and they didn't get to go on the cruise. Now, I personally would have been on that cruise alone, a little solo moment, eat, pray, love. I mean, but obviously not everyone is comfortable solo traveling, so she didn't go on the cruise. It's just crazy how so many of the comments on that TikTok said, yeah, you know how men are just so dumb. They're like children. You should have checked for him. As if it was her fault that her husband lied to her. He said he checked it. Hold them accountable. If you say you want flowers and then they never get you flowers, or you say, hey, could you put more effort into planning dates? I feel like I'm always the one who's planning dates. Maybe even say, yeah, I'll get you flowers. Yeah, I'll plan out dates, but then they don't do it. That is not okay because you are expressing something that you want and you should get it. You know, it's not like you're asking for the stars and the moon. You're asking for a basic part of a relationship, romance. And also, I want to go on a side note because some people, the mean cishet men, they were saying, well, gifts aren't important. Who cares if he got you the wrong medal? The point is, to be loved is to be seen. And if you're someone who's in a relationship and that person is not seeing you, that is not love. That is not the love that you should be accepting. And I understand that a lot of times it's like the quote from Perks of Being a Wallflower, amazing book, amazing movie. We accept the love that we think we deserve. It's the partners that we choose or the people that we romantically hang out with. People we romantically hang out with, that's a crazy statement. But the people that we choose to date are often a reflection of our self-worth. The lower self-worth we have, the more we're gonna let slide in terms of bad behavior. And I understand that, but I just want to reiterate that to be loved is to be seen, and you deserve someone who's going to remember your birthday. And if they're a forgetful person, they're going to write it down in their notes app. They're going to set reminders. They're going to take the time to see you and to actually want to be with you. While it may seem like it's not that bad, death by 1,000 cuts is a real thing. A lot of times people think that their situation isn't bad enough to actually break up with the person or to seek help. Really good analogy that I have for this is, let's say you're dancing at the club, you're vibing, you're on the beach, you're doing whatever, and then you sprain your ankle or you hit your knee and you think to yourself, oh my gosh, I'm an American. I can't afford to pay the medical bills. You're from another country and you say, oh my gosh, those lines to get medical treatment are going to be way too long. I don't want to sit there for 10 hours to see the doctor. And so you just treat it at home, you ice it, you elevate it, and you say, you know what, it'll be fine. And it is for the most part, but sometimes if you move the wrong way, you get pains. Sometimes you're still sore. Sometimes it's easy for you to sprain your ankle again. Your ankle or your knee is not ever fully healed. And that's how it is when you're in a bad relationship. You go through these death by 1,000 cuts and you don't realize how badly this is negatively impacting you, because just like the knee sprain or just like the ankle sprain, these effects are going to be with you forever until you get the medical treatment. But I'm not putting any blame if you are still in this relationship. I'm just saying my heart goes out to you, and I hope that one day you find the courage to have the love that you deserve, because you exist. The love that you want also exists, and you deserve that. You deserve to be in a loving, happy, romance-filled relationship, not someone who tolerates you, someone who celebrates you and uplifts you and loves you. I just wish so many baddies could see the way that I see them. If they saw themselves how the way myself and so many other people see them, they would have kicked this man to the curb for 500 years ago, but obviously it's a lot harder to do and it's easier said than done. So I'm not blaming the women in these relationships or anything. I just hope that one day that they can find the courage and power to leave these relationships that are just not serving them. And it's just very frustrating, especially if you have a long history with someone. It's hard to leave because of these red flags, or you're introduced, maybe you're legally bound together, maybe there's children involved. There's a million reasons why it's hard to leave these situations. So my heart goes out to you is all I'm saying. But if you're ready to look in the mirror and face the truth, you never know what's on the other side. And when we fully unpack weaponized incompetence and we fully unpack how deep misogyny runs, a lot of times we have to ask ourselves, wait a second, maybe my partner, or maybe my father, or maybe my friend, or maybe my coworker, maybe they're not as great of a person as I thought they were. Maybe they're doing things that are making me uncomfortable, which is a hard truth to face, especially if there's someone who's constantly in your life. And also, you don't realize how draining it is to be in relationships or have friendships with people who are misogynistic or people who are just straight up disrespectful towards you. You think, oh, it's fine, but the mental resources they absorb is ridiculous. It's like TikTok taking up all my phone storage. But before we continue with this video, I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video. Cue the commercial break. We actually don't have a sponsor for this video, so instead of selling you a product, I'm gonna be serving you tea. I'm gonna give you a story time that's related to what I'm talking about, and I'm gonna call this commercial break the Sugar Daddy from Hoswell. Ooh, spooky. Last year, I told myself that I was gonna go to London. Girl, I was being so delulu. I did not have the money. I did not have the funds. But you know what I did have? I had the delulu. And it worked. I ended up working at a hostel for free food and accommodation. It was a horrible experience. But that's a different story for a different time. What? Did you think I didn't sign an exclusivity contract? You think we're gonna have 2 commercial breaks in one video? You're crazy. You're crazy. One day I was working in the kitchen and this guy, he corners me and he says, where are you from? And I say, America. He says, oh, I love Americans. They're so friendly. Everyone here at this hostel is so not friendly. Everyone except the French girl. But I wasn't too nice to her because I didn't want her to think I was hitting on her. Oh, brother. And then he goes, I saw you the other day. Mind you, this was when I was getting out of the communal shower. He said, I saw you and I saw you today. So I went back to my room and took a shot of brandy. I had to work up the courage to talk to you. We should get to know each other. You should give me your WhatsApp. No, I'm good. No, you need an older gentleman that'll show you around. No, give me your WhatsApp. No, I'm good. I have plenty of friends here. Also, side note, the whole narrative that older guys are better is completely and utterly false. If that were the case, then why do deadbeat dads exist? And mind you, I am here in my work uniform with my gloves on trying to do my job, and this guy is having me cornered in this tiny little kitchen. Give me your phone so I can put my WhatsApp in. I'll fly you out from Chicago to London so you can visit me. No, thank you. We could get a hotel together. Come on, give me your WhatsApp. No. And then he was shocked. He was gagged. He literally had his hand out. Even though I said no multiple times. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. And you know what the worst part about this stupid story was? Is that you're staying at a hostel. If you don't know anything about a hostel, it is very much a cheap hotel where you're sharing rooms with people. Okay, this was a long-term hostel, and so people were there for a little while, but you are only paying 500 pounds a month for a shared room. You have no money to be a sugar daddy. What? Am I gonna call you a Diet Coke daddy? A stevia father? Like, if you're gonna be a sugar daddy, that's one thing, but if you're going to be a sugar daddy that lies to me, you're joking. I mean, what do we expect? He was already crossing so many boundaries, cornering me, continually asking for my phone number when I said no. So what do we expect? Not much. And then remember, people, I live at this hostel and he lives there too. So I was scared for my life. Just girly pop things. These conversations will always matter. When an oppressed group of people recognize that they have power and decide to reclaim it, it's over for the oppressor. That's why so many men will get angry when these discussions happen, and they'll try to twist the narrative and say, well, it's not all men. This is misandry. This is horrible. This is sexist, because they know that once people wake up and realize that what is going on is not okay and we actually want to fix it, that it's game over for them. And you know what the worst part about all of this is? If they just treated people like human beings, they wouldn't even have horrible lives. If you're a decent person, you shouldn't have to worry about anything. A lot of these bad guys are not nice people, and if people recognize that, then they're left to their own devices. They're left with nothing. People are gonna break up with them. People are gonna kick them to the curb. That's why so many guys get angry about this, because they don't want their power to get taken away. That's why they immediately get defensive, saying, well, it's not all guys. It's not. They try to invalidate your argument, but if it truly didn't apply to you, you wouldn't feel some type of way about this. Like, the guys who get it, they get it. And if you don't, you're probably the guy I'm talking about. These conversations are also important to have, because when we look at our own relationships, we have to ask ourselves, are we with a misogynist? Are we with a bad person? I know it's hard to detect a lot of the times. It's like the quote from BoJack Horseman. We don't see the red flags because of the rose-tinted glasses. And then a lot of times we're too close to the situation to see the full picture. But then when people are talking about similar experiences on TikTok and all of the comments are saying, run for the hills, girl, run. That man is bad. He is not a good man, Savannah. Then you kind of say, well, wait a second, I'm Savannah. Now we're recognizing aspects that we were tolerating that other people are telling us, hey, Bessie, that's not cool. And if we didn't have these conversations, then some people would never recognize that they were tolerating bad behavior. Many guys are convinced that they're good guys and that they're a nice guy, and they will do whatever it takes to maintain that image instead of actually facing themselves and say, hey, how am I contributing to the patriarchy? How am I being misogynistic? Are there ways that I'm contributing to the problem? And actually getting real with themselves. You know, it's kind of like when you say you support Free Palestine or you support Black Lives Matter, and the immediate response when someone sees you is, oh, but what about black on black crime? Oh, ACAB? Well, it's not all cops. You can't just generalize cops like that. Not every single cop is going to be a bad person, but we're talking about systemically speaking. If you're a cop, you are a part of the system, and that needs to be addressed. The guys that get it, and if they don't, they're a part of the problem and they don't want to admit it. And so if you're dating someone or friends with someone who you make an offhanded comment about women's rights and they want to have a comment back, they want to have a rebuttal about it, or they have something to say, maybe assess your relationship with them. Like, they could have just not said anything. Instead, they're going to argue with you. They're going to make a rude comment back. Weird. But now what? What do we do with all of this information? I know it's so easy to feel helpless. It feels like there's nothing that we can do and that we have been fighting for our rights for a long period of time, and still we would rather choose to be alone with the bear than with a man. I understand how hard it is. I understand. My best solution personally is to decenter men. The irony is not lost on me that this video is about men and I'm saying decenter men, but like I said, these conversations are important to have. I said at the beginning that this video was not made for cishet guys. Honestly, I wasn't even gonna make this video, but I made a TikTok about this with the same sentiment and it went viral, and a lot of people in the comments felt seen. They felt validated. They said, finally, someone's saying this. Like, this is how I've been feeling. Like, preach. And so, yeah, I'm gonna make a whole entire video about it, because if this spreads to more people, more women feel this type of way, or more men who feel this type of way and say, yeah, I'm kind of sick and tired of worrying about these things, and yeah, I'm gonna make a whole entire video about it. Even if 5% of the people who find this are gonna be the mean, misogynistic, lifeless people who sat through this entire long video, thanks for paying the bills, baby. Centering men is one of the best things that you can do. Honestly, I'm gonna make a whole other video about dating, romance, all that jazz. I used to be the person who hated men. I would engage in arguments. You went low, I went lower. You were mean, I'm gonna be meaner. I was angry. And I mean, it's fine to be angry. I'm glad that there are people like Drew Afualo who are mean to some of these mean guys, because they're not gonna get in their head otherwise. I'm saying that if you don't feel like fighting, that you don't have to fight. Just leave them be. Some of the guys who are commenting on my TikTok posts, I don't comment back because that's exactly what they want. They want you to comment back. They want the attention. Like, why would I care about your comment? You know, a lot of times people seek validation from guys without even thinking about it. They'll want to look a certain way or do certain things, but if you actually think about it, if you ask yourself, is this a source that is reliable? Am I seeking validation from a reliable source? Would this be in the citations? Would this be included on PubMed? When you ask yourself that, then you realize, wait a second, why would I care what you think? Why would I care what you think? Love and hate are often two sides of the same coin. You're still putting all of that energy and time, even if it's in a form of hatred. So I said, you know what, whatever. I know I may offhand say, oh, I hate men, oh, I don't like men. And you know, obviously the guys who that applies to, they take it literally and like, oh, yeah. I can't care anymore. Recognizing how wonderful life can be without men, it's just so wonderful. It's so peaceful. Your hobbies, your friendships, yourself, the 4B movement, it's not something that's impossible. It's not some crazy idea. You hear those fireworks in the background? I feel like this is a cinematic moment. The universe is saying, yes, girl, preach to the choir. Amen, hallelujah. When it comes to decentering men, it's important to ask yourself, how often are you talking about men? How often are you thinking about men? Or when you're going out with your friends, how often are you hoping to meet a guy? How often are you on dating apps, even though you kind of hate dating apps? How often are you just swiping? How many times do you run out of swipes? I used to be a serial dater, okay? I used to be that girl who ran out of swipes. I was just sitting there on my couch on Bumble, Hinge, and Tinder, and I ran out of likes and swipes. What was I doing? There were so many better things I could have been doing with my time. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be on dating apps or that you shouldn't date or that you can't even date men or anything like that. Obviously, I'm not saying that. Sometimes you have to ask yourself, okay, maybe spending 1 to 2 hours every day swiping is not healthy. There's just so many fun aspects to life. For example, philosophy, cute little hobbies, which I'm gonna make a whole other video about because there's this whole entire discussion about hobbies and them being expensive. I'm gonna do a video about it. But solo dates, exploring new food, exploring new places, going on walks. I mean, obviously, maybe you're gonna encounter some weird, creepy guys. However, the sentiment of just enjoying life, enjoying the mundane, enjoying wonderful aspects of life is wonderful. Even if you're happily in a relationship where your partner should be your side character, you are the main star, you are the main character, okay? They should just be a little addition, a little accessory. Wow, the fireworks, they're really supporting my statement. So what's the tea? What do you think? Tell me how you feel about the situation. Tell me about your experiences. Tell me how you feel about the 4B movement, Drew Afualo, and stuff like that. How do you feel about reclaiming your power, taking it back? And let me know what other videos you want me to comment on. I'm gonna make a video about influencers. I have a lot to say about what's going on in the influencer world. What are these influencers doing? I have a lot to say, and I'm gonna make a video about that as well. And if you just have random tea that you want to tell me, stuff that's unrelated to this video about your life, feel free to comment it down below. Don't be shy. What's the friend drama? I'm so nosy. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you're nosy like me, you can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on TikTok for more commentary as videos. Thank you so much for watching this. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful and whimsical day.